Ren, it's time to work. Come on.
Hey, it's Ren. Let's see what's making news. The Australian Council of Trade Unions says it's time for Aussies to have a shorter work week. So, Justina, how short we talking?
4 days. A 4-day work week.
Yep, the Australian Council of Trade Unions, or the ACTU, has become the latest union group to call for one less workday a week without any changes to pay.
I think a 4-day work week would be great.
It'd be very productive in the week, you get more done.
I think it's important to have a rest, especially with high intensity work.
The ACTU say a shorter work week could help people live happier, healthier and more balanced lives. Ah! Oh, hello? Hello?
In fact, studies from Australia and other countries like Ireland, the UK and the US found that when companies trialled a 4-day work week, it helped boost performance, reduce burnout and made people feel happy doing their job.
I just think it's really important that we can all give our all to our jobs, but if we're constantly being drained by those jobs, then we can't do that.
But because not all jobs are the same, a 4-day work week might look different depending on what job you do. Or for some, it might not even be possible.
Yeah, I want to be a soccer player when I grow up, and I don't think a 4-day work week would really work for that, to be honest.
I think it might be a bit harder for some people because we all need money and it's very limiting to have only 4 days to work.
Nothing's set in stone just yet. The ACTU will be bringing this up at the government's Productivity Roundtable next week.
Apple and Google have lost a landmark court battle after the Australian Federal Court found they were being anti-competitive. The case began in 2020 when Fortnite was kicked off app stores for offering its own in-app payment system, which cut fees that Apple and Google usually make for in-app payments. Epic Games, the developers of Fortnite, alleged Apple and Google ran illegal monopolies for app sales by forcing developers to use their payment platforms. Experts reckon the court's ruling could have a big impact on how digital platforms operate in Australia and may lead to lower prices, increased competition and more innovation. Now we're going to meet Kate from Armidale in New South Wales. She's a winner of this year's ABC Haywire competition with her story about becoming a pilot. Check it out.
I'm the 4th generation flyer in my family. My great-grandfather flew with the Air Force in Egypt. My grandfather is a private pilot, and so is my dad. Now here I am, the first female flyer in our family. When I was young, my mum told me I could be a pilot one day, but it wasn't until a joy flight a few years ago that I really fell in love with flying. I started getting lessons in a Cessna 152. Now I have more hours in the air than I do in a car.
Traffic Bathurst Cessna 152 Tango Echo Bravo.
I was born with mild to moderate hearing loss in both ears, so I use a headset that adjusts for my audio levels. I do a final check of the wind and other aircraft. Then I taxi to the active runway and line up. Right before I fly, I take a moment. Hands and feet on the controls, throttle forward. The nose lifts off the ground and I'm airborne. I feel free when I'm flying. More women are finding their place as pilots, and I'm excited to be a part of that. I want other young women to feel the joy of flying. It's pure elation.
Now it's time for some stories that will make you say, wow. They're pretty exciting. First up, to China, where this frolicking baby yak is celebrating its 1-month birthday. What's the big deal? Well, Nutso number 1, as it's been named, is actually the world's first cloned yak. It took scientists 2 years to produce after they noticed the genetic quality of the yak population was declining, which is a big problem because they play a big part in the local economy and environment. Now to South Carolina in the US, where a police dash cam caught this massive lightning strike. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but it did bring down power lines and caused massive power outages in the area. It looked cool though, I guess. And finally, to a robot dog with a mission on the streets of Mexico. Dog is bounding around the streets talking to locals about animal welfare. Yes, talking.
Hola, soy Dog y estoy aquí para darle voz a quienes no la tienen.
Accompanied by its owner, Senator Waldo Fernandez, Dog will help flag litter, potholes and stray animals on the streets. Wow. Well, that's all we have time for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.